Before we begin, let me ask you something quietly. Have you ever noticed how the mind can become so busy that even simple thoughts start to feel tangled? Not because anything is truly wrong, but because the mind keeps moving, reviewing things that already happened, imagining things that might happen, trying to solve problems that don't even exist yet. And the more the mind tries to think its way into certainty, the faster it begins to move. Thought chasing thought, possibility chasing possibility, until clarity becomes difficult to find. But tonight's story is about something simple, something gentle, something that quietly reminds the mind how clarity actually returns, and to understand it. I want you to imagine a snow globe, a simple glass globe. Inside it, a peaceful winter scene. Maybe there's a small wooden cabin. Maybe a quiet forest of pine trees. Maybe a frozen lake reflecting a pale winter sky. Everything inside the globe is perfectly still, calm, clear, peaceful. You can see every tiny detail, every branch, every window, every delicate shape in the landscape, because nothing inside the globe is moving. And for a moment, you might imagine that snow globe resting on a quiet wooden table, still, undisturbed, peaceful. And the scene inside is perfectly clear. Now imagine someone picking up that snow globe and gently shaking it. Just once. Suddenly, the snow begins to swirl, white flakes spinning in every direction, filling the air inside the glass. The peaceful scene becomes cloudy, blurry, difficult to see. Nothing inside the globe has actually changed. The cabin is still there. The trees are still there. The frozen lake is still there. But now it's hard to see them, because everything is swirling. And if someone keeps shaking the globe again and again, the snow flies faster, more chaotically, filling every corner of the glass. The peaceful winter scene becomes almost invisible. And if someone looked at the globe while it was being shaken, they might believe that the whole world inside had become chaotic. But that wouldn't actually be true. The world inside never changed, only the movement of the snow. And in many ways, the mind works exactly the same way. Because there are moments in life when something small happens, a conversation, a memory, a worry, a possibility, and the mind begins to think about it, which is natural. Thought is useful. Thought helps us plan, understand, reflect. But sometimes the mind doesn't think once. It thinks again and again and again, replaying the same moment, imagining new possibilities, analyzing every detail, trying to solve something that may not need to be solved. And each new thought becomes another small shake of the snow globe. Soon the snow begins to swirl, thoughts spinning in every direction. What if I said something wrong? What if that person misunderstood me? What if something goes wrong tomorrow? What if I miss something important? And the mind keeps shaking the globe. More thinking, more analyzing, more predicting, until the inner landscape becomes cloudy and clarity disappears. Not because clarity is gone, but because the snow is still swirling. And when people experience this, they often believe the solution is to think more, to solve harder, to analyze deeper, to keep shaking the globe until the answer appears. But something interesting happens when a snow globe is shaken. The harder you shake it, the longer it takes to clear. Because the snow cannot settle while the globe is still moving. Clarity never returns while agitation continues. And the only thing that actually restores the peaceful scene inside is stillness. Simply placing the globe down, letting it rest, not fixing anything, not forcing anything, just allowing gravity to do what gravity naturally does. The snow begins to slow. The flakes drift downward, gradually, quietly, naturally. And little by little, the cabin becomes visible again. The trees reappear. The frozen lake returns. The scene was never lost. It was simply hidden by movement. And the mind works in the same way. Because clarity does not come from shaking the globe harder. It comes from allowing the snow to settle. Allowing thoughts to slow. Allowing the nervous system to rest. Allowing the mind to remember its natural stillness. And interestingly, this doesn't happen through effort. It happens through permission. Permission to stop shaking. Permission to stop solving. Permission to let the mind rest for a moment. Because when the shaking stops, something beautiful begins to happen. Thoughts soften. The nervous system exhales. And the inner landscape becomes clear. One thought settles. Then another. Then another. Until the picture returns. Calm. Quiet. Clear. And sometimes people are surprised by this because they realize something unexpected. The clarity they were searching for was never missing. It was simply waiting beneath the snow, waiting for the mind to become still. And the beautiful thing about snow globes is that they always settle, no matter how much they were shaken, no matter how chaotic the snow once looked. Stillness always brings clarity back, every time. And in the same way, your mind already knows how to settle. It knows how to soften. It knows how to return to quiet. Because beneath every busy thought, beneath every swirling worry, beneath every restless prediction, there is a deeper place, a calm place, a steady place, a place where the snow has already settled, where the landscape is clear, where the mind remembers something simple. You don't have to shake the globe to understand the world inside it. Sometimes, the wisest thing you can do is simply set it down, let it rest, and trust that clarity is already returning. Slowly, quietly, naturally, just like the snow falling gently to the ground, until the peaceful scene inside the globe becomes visible again, clear, still, and waiting patiently for you to notice. And now, after hearing that story, you may already notice something beginning to happen inside your body. Because sometimes, when the mind hears a story that reflects its own experience, it begins to soften. Not all at once, not suddenly, but gently, like the moment when a snow globe is finally set down. So for just a moment, allow yourself to do something simple. Take a slow breath in. And as you exhale, let your shoulders soften just a little. That's right. Nothing forced. Nothing controlled. Just allowing the breath to move naturally. And as you continue listening, you might imagine that snow globe again, resting quietly on the table, still, undisturbed. Inside the globe, the snow that was once swirling is beginning to slow. Tiny flakes drifting downward, floating gently through the air, each one settling naturally toward the bottom of the globe. And as you imagine that, you might begin to notice something interesting. Your mind can begin doing the same thing, because thoughts often behave like snowflakes. They move, they swirl, they appear to disappear, and when nothing is shaking the globe, they begin to settle. And the beautiful thing about this process is that you don't need to force it. Snow settles all by itself, and in the same way, your nervous system already knows how to relax. So as you continue listening, you might notice your breathing finds its own comfortable rhythm. Breathing in and breathing out, each breath becoming a little slower, a little deeper, a little easier. And with every gentle exhale, you may imagine the snow inside the globe settling further. More flakes drifting downward. More space opening inside the glass. More clarity returning. And as that happens, your attention might begin to drift inward, away from the busy parts of the day, away from things that needed to be solved, away from everything that required effort. Because right now, there's nothing you need to figure out, nothing you need to analyze, nothing you need to solve. This moment is simply about allowing your body to rest, allowing your mind to slow, allowing your inner snow globe to settle naturally. And sometimes, when people allow themselves to relax this way, they begin to notice subtle changes. The muscles in the forehead soften. The jaw loosens. The neck releases tension it was holding. And even the tiny muscles around the eyes begin to rest. Because your body is understanding something important. You are safe in this moment. Safe enough to soften. Safe enough to slow down. Safe enough to stop shaking the globe. And as that realization spreads through your body, you might imagine the relaxation moving downward, like gentle waves of warmth. flowing from the top of your head, down through your neck, across your shoulders, through your arms, all the way down to your fingertips. Every exhale allowing that wave to move further down through the chest, softening the breath through the stomach, releasing the muscles there, down through the hips, the legs, the knees, the calves, until even the feet begin to feel heavy, grounded, comfortably supported. And as your body continues settling, your mind may begin drifting in that pleasant way that happens between waking and dreaming, where thoughts become slower, softer, more distant, just like those snowflakes inside the globe, drifting gently downward. And if a thought appears, that's perfectly okay. Thoughts are simply snowflakes. They rise, they swirl for a moment, and then they settle again. Nothing you need to do, nothing you need to control, just letting the snowflake fall. And the more you allow this, the deeper your body may relax. Because relaxation isn't something you create. It's something that reveals itself when effort stops. Just like the peaceful winter scene inside the globe. You might imagine now that most of the snowflakes have settled. The air inside the globe becoming clear. The quiet winter scene returning. The trees visible again. The small cabin peaceful and still. Everything exactly as it always was, just waiting beneath the snow. And in the same way, beneath all that busy thinking in the mind, there is a quiet place, a calm place, a place that has always been there. And as you rest there, you might notice how natural this stillness feels, how familiar, almost as if your nervous system has been waiting for this moment, waiting for permission to stop shaking the globe, waiting for the quiet to return. And the more you rest in this calm, the more your mind may begin to drift deeper into a comfortable inner quiet, a place where thoughts move slowly, where the body feels heavy and relaxed, where clarity can return without effort. And in this peaceful state, you may realize something important. The mind does not become clear by thinking more. It becomes clear when it finally rests, just like the snow globe, just like the falling snow, just like the quiet winter scene that was always there, waiting patiently for stillness to return. So for now, just allow yourself to remain here for a moment, breathing slowly, resting comfortably, letting the last feel snowflakes settle, and enjoying the calm clarity that appears naturally when the mind is finally still. So here are the key meanings of the story. Number 1, overthinking creates mental chaos. The snow swirling in the globe represents the way thoughts multiply when the mind keeps analyzing, predicting, and replaying events. Nothing inside the snow globe actually changed. In the same way, many situations in life remain the same, but constant overthinking distorts our perception of them. Overthinking makes problems appear larger, more confusing, and more urgent than they actually are. Number 2, clarity comes from stillness, not more thinking. One of the central lessons of the metaphor is that clarity does not come from forcing the mind to think harder. Just as the snow settles when the globe is set down, the mind becomes clear when it stops being agitated. This gently teaches the listeners that peace often comes from pausing, breathing, allowing the nervous system to calm, rather than trying to mentally solve everything. Number 3, the mind naturally returns to balance. Snow globes always settle eventually. This symbolizes the brain's natural ability to regulate itself when it is no longer under constant stimulation or stress. The story reassures listeners that their mind already knows how to return to calm. They do not need to force peace. They only need to stop stirring the chaos. Number 4, thoughts are temporary, not permanent. The snowflakes represent individual thoughts. They move, swirl, appear, and disappear. The story reminds the listeners that thoughts are not fixed realities. They are temporary mental events that pass when we stop feeding them attention. Number 5, inner clarity has always been there. The peaceful winter scene inside the globe never disappeared. It was only hidden by movement. This reflects the important emotional truth. Calm, clarity, and wisdom already exist within the mind. Stress and overthinking simply obscure them for a while. Number 6, control is not always the solution. Many people believe the answer to anxiety is figuring everything out. The metaphor gently reframes this idea. Sometimes the most effective thing to do is to set the globe down. Stop trying to control every possibility and allow life to settle naturally. Number 7, the nervous system needs rest. The shaking represents a mind that is constantly stimulated, alert, and searching for threats. By letting the globe rest, the story models nervous system regulation, showing that safety and calm allow the body and mind to return to equilibrium. And number 8, peace is a skill of allowing. Ultimately, the story teaches a powerful principle. Peace does not come from doing more. It comes from allowing more stillness. Just as gravity settles the snow, stillness allows clarity to return on its own. And before you drift away from this quiet moment, I want to gently remind you of something. Moments like this, moments where the mind softens, where the snow settles, where clarity slowly returns, are something we can practice together again and again. So if this story helped your mind feel a little calmer, a little quieter, a little clearer, I invite you to subscribe to this channel so you can return to these stories whenever you need a place to slow down, breathe, and let the snow settle again. And if there's something personal you're going through, a challenge, a habit you want to change, a fear you want to release, or a transformation you want to step into, I also create personal hypnotic stories designed specifically for your journey. So if that's something you would like to explore, You can reach out to me directly at rhonda's@gmail.com. Just send a message and tell me a little about what you're going through, and together we can create a story that speaks directly to your mind, your experience, and the change you're ready for. Until next time, be gentle with your thoughts, remember the snow globe, and allow your mind the stillness it needs for the clarity to return naturally.